We are back with Dr. David Hiller answering questions about colon cancer and colonoscopies. Before we get to the questions, though, we're going to talk about an event that's coming up, the Get Your Rear in Gear. All right, so talk to us about this event and the importance of it.
Yes, this is an event that is put on locally, but we're part of a national organization called the Colon Cancer Coalition. And it's a great group that puts on races all around the country to raise awareness and money for colon cancer. And all of the money raised is going to stay local. There's a lot of local groups, hospitals, organizations that submit grants and are doing things like reduced price and free colonoscopies, at-home tests, transportation help for people with colon cancer. I mean, so many different programs. And so a lot of help in this community is generated from this race. And so we have over 500 people registered for the race so far. It's this Saturday at Jamison Park, which is on the Muddy Creek Greenway in Winston-Salem. It's going to start about 8:30. And you can go, if you Google Winston-Salem rear end gear, it's going to pop up and you can sign up and join us. If you've had colon cancer, you can register for free. We want to honor survivors. That's really the crux of this whole thing, is to be there to celebrate and uplift the people who've gone through this and the families and the caretakers that are helping them, so that we can support them and also do what we can to help others who are following in those footsteps.
Right. And of course, our own Julie Luck is going to be emceeing that. So we look forward to maybe getting that rain cleared out a little bit earlier for everybody.
That's
All right.
right.
Let's take a look at these questions. This person's asking, what about that new blood for colon cancer test? Is it just as good as the colonoscopy?
Yes, that's Cologuard. You've probably seen a lot of commercials for it. And that is a test you take at home, you send it off, they'll tell you positive or negative. And it's looking for DNA markers in stool that can suggest that there's a polyp or a cancer. So this is a great new technology that's coming, but it is not perfect by any means. And so there is a certain percentage of the time where it'll tell you that the test is negative when it's in fact positive. And sometimes it'll tell you it's positive when it's in fact negative. When the test is positive, you need to go get a colonoscopy. When it's negative, some people think I'm done, but that's one of our concerns, is how often is it falsely negative. So it does not replace a colonoscopy, but it's something that can be used based on time frames in different situations, or depending on what's happening with you medically, it may not be the right time or appropriate for you to get a colonoscopy. So definitely a conversation to have with your doctor, your primary care, your GI, your surgeon, but bring that up and talk about why. But I would not take it without having that conversation.
Okay. This question is, can your primary doctor prescribe the at-home test, or does it have to be a specialist?
No, they definitely can. They definitely can. And so, again, that's why it's important to have that conversation about, is it the right thing to do and what are we going to do with the results we get? But absolutely, our primary care physicians are as well versed in when to use these as anybody, and are so influential and helpful in getting people screened appropriately.
All right, this next person who wrote in said, my brother died from colon cancer, and my last colonoscopy I did have polyps. How often should I be having the test?
So that is going to be if your brother didn't have and you don't have any known genetic alterations, which is something that usually are checked for in your brother's case, then that's going to be for you 5 years typically, unless you have very large polyps or more extensive polyps that could put you on a 3 or 1 year, what we call a recall, meaning how quickly you come back. But that was something that, depending on age, if you're younger than 50, that is something that you would want to get looked at more and talk with your doctor about, maybe seeing a genetic counselor to see if there's any genetic workup for that. But outside of that, again, that's maybe just 10% of patients that are in that situation. You're going to be in that 3 to 5 year range, depending on how many polyps you're having.
Okay. This is an age question. This person says, if you're a female 78 and have been tested regularly with no polyps, when can you stop getting a colonoscopy?
Oh, that's a really good question. The age question comes up a lot because a lot of times people said 75, you can stop. And I think that comes from a place of, a lot of times at that age, especially when we were making these guidelines, you start to say, well, what are we looking for? And are we going to create problems looking for problems kind of situation? And we're living longer now, and we're living better now. And that means more time to create polyps. And so I would not say anymore that a firm age number is a reason to stop screening. It's more of what's going on in your life. If you're still living a full life, you're doing things, you're healthy, then I say still get screened and talk with your doctor about what you think would be the best way to screen.
Okay.
I think still a colonoscopy colonoscopy for a lot of people in that who say they're 78 and are still very active. Because if you live another 15, 20 years, you could grow polyps that could cause a problem, and those could easily be taken out. It's
Gotcha.
not riskier the
Okay.
older you get.
All right, we have about a minute. This person says, I thought all polyps were precancerous until I had my last procedure. What is the difference about a precancerous or a not a precancerous polyp?
That's a great question because most polyps, I would say, are. There are some that aren't. There's a couple small types, a few variants that don't lead to a cancer. We don't see those as often. Most polyps that you'll see pictures of online are people who've had their colonoscopies. You're going to see what looks like something that might be on a little bit of a stalk that's coming up, or a flat thing that you can just barely see over that pink lining of the colon. And those are the most common types of adenomatous polyps. Sessile polyp might be another phrase people use. And there's different versions of these adenomas. Those are the precancerous ones. We don't know when or how long it'll take, usually years, but those are the ones that can turn into a cancer. And that's the majority of the ones that we'll come across. When people say they have polyps, that's almost always what they're referring to.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for your time and expertise. We so appreciate you, Dr. Hiller. And of course, we wish you the very best on the event on Saturday. In fact, we're going to talk to Julie Luck about it when we come back after this break.